He's an Olympic medalist, a two-time world champ, and a Bay Area native. I'm here with figure skater Vincent Zhou. Hi, Vincent. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Hi, thank you so much. It's great to be on here.
Fantastic. Well, first off, congratulations on your latest medal. You took bronze at Worlds back in March. But I mean, Vincent, this wasn't just another medal for you. This one meant a lot. You posted on Instagram following the competition saying you almost didn't go to France. And the only reason you did end up going was because you didn't want to live with the regret of not being there. Please elaborate on how you were feeling then.
Following the Olympics, I had an extremely rough time mentally, just getting my head in the game for Worlds. I very nearly gave up at many points, and it was just an extremely difficult time. And I knew that going to Worlds was very risky because if I didn't do well, then I would, slip into an even darker place and not really having the right headspace to train after the Olympics. Just not even being able to go near my skates some days. I was not in good physical shape before Worlds either, or so I thought, I guess. And so I knew like, okay, statistically, I haven't trained for X amount of weeks. I'm not prepared for Worlds. I'm not likely to do well. But call it what you will, magic or through the power of belief or whatever. I made it to Worlds and earned a medal. So definitely one of the most hard-earned medals of my career and one I'm extremely proud of.
You're talking about how you felt you weren't necessarily prepared for it. Were you surprised when you took that third place?
Absolutely. It was something that I wanted really badly, but I didn't think there was any chance I could make it happen. But sometimes when you think all is lost, that's when the greatest surprises come in.
Well, I gotta say, Vincent, this I think is a testament to how prepared you really were, even if you weren't on the rink, I think. So congratulations again. But you were talking a little bit about what happened out in Beijing. You tested positive for COVID after that first event. And we heard you talk about how you felt immediately after in the video you shared on social media. But after you came back, it was a different story based on what you've said so far. You started really feeling it. How did you feel when you got back here?
Well, when I got back home, that was when everything really came crashing down, because I wasn't really in the Olympic atmosphere anymore, even though my time in Beijing after testing positive for COVID was extremely hard. I don't think anything could have prepared me for how I felt when I got back home. But the reason I felt so much better once I got to Worlds was because I'd already made the hardest decision. The hardest decision was taking that first step to go to Worlds. Most people would have given up before taking that step. But I got myself through, I got myself on the plane, I got myself there. And after making that extremely difficult decision, I just felt so free. I skated with a huge weight off my shoulders, and I had some of the best practices of my career and competed well and, got my medal. Like I just had wings that entire week.
I love to hear that. We'll talk about what you're going to do after in just a bit, but let's go back to Beijing. Let's talk about quarantine life out there. What was it like?
I heard there were a lot of complaints before I went into quarantine about the quality of services provided. But my experience in terms of, getting like necessities for life was not bad at all. It was fine. It was my own inner demons that I was, battling. I actually have a funny anecdote about my time in quarantine. So we were in a hotel about like 45 minutes away from the village. And all our meals were shuttled from the village cafeteria to us. And so the hotel staff would give us a meal order form every single day to put in what we wanted. And it was just the same cafeteria menu every single day. And I think the complaints that they weren't giving people enough food They really took it seriously because they were giving me too much food. Whatever item I circled, they would give me like 2 or 3 times the proper portion of. I got like 12 bananas in one day. I got 2 giant containers of melon in one day. I was getting 6 bottles of drinks per meal. It was really funny.
12 bananas? Did you eat all of them is the question here, Vincent.
I ate 1 or 2.
Save the rest for later.
Like a normal person.
Well,
I don't know what they eat in China, but I ate like a normal person.
Wow, twice the food. There you go. But I mean, despite the obstacles that you faced there in Beijing and not getting the chance to compete for an individual medal, you did win a silver medal with the team. Looking back, how does that make you feel?
Well, I'm grateful for the entire experience of the Olympics. There's the good and the bad. And, obviously the good is having the opportunity to even be in Beijing and skate there in the first place. I mean, that's such an incredible thing. Having the opportunity to compete in a team event and then being invited to the gala after testing positive all the way at the end of the Olympics. I'm really grateful for my entire experience. I'm really proud of my whole team. Team USA is incredible. The skaters, we all did our jobs. So like I said, I'm just grateful to have had that experience.
Absolutely. So we've been going down the memory lane here, but let's take it back even further to 2018 when you became the first skater to land the quadruple Lutz jump at the Olympics. What kind of emotions were running through you during this historic moment, Vincent?
Well, I always say in interviews that the reason that I have that title and not someone else is because of my starting order in the event. Because, in the couple years between the 2014 Olympics and the 2018 Olympics, the quadruple jump craze had really taken off, and all of a sudden everyone and their mothers could do quad lutzes and all different types of quads in the book. So I attribute that to having an earlier starting order than the other people who were attempting quad lutzes. But that being said, I was the youngest member of Team USA across all sports at that Olympics, and so being that young kid, I wasn't even an adult, and then making history like that is a really cool feeling, and just I guess it's a testament to how bright the fire in me has burned ever since I was 5-6 years old when I first started skating. I've always had that desire to push the boundaries and do better and harder things.
And you certainly did. What an achievement. So now we've been talking about the past. Let's move toward the future. What do you think of the 2026 Winter Olympics? What comes to mind? Are you planning to give it another go here?
Well, I will be returning to school in the fall. I will be taking a full course load and committing full time to school, so it will be difficult for me to train. But I'm keeping my options open. The Boston Skating Club is now open. It's closer to Providence than other options in the past, and I love skating so much, and I feel like I have more to give. So who knows? We'll see.
Ooh, 2026. All right. Well, moving on to the present, though, and what you're doing right now. You're currently traveling with the Stars on Ice tour. Your next stop is here in San Jose this weekend. I'll put up the details on the screen so people can go and watch you. But tell me more about the show for those who aren't familiar with what goes on in the show.
Well, Stars on Ice is an all-star American cast touring locations all across the U.S. And this year, our tour is themed around the Olympic celebration after our accomplishments at the 2022 Games. It's the show is a journey through everyone's skating careers, everyone's skating journeys from childhood to present, and it's one of the best shows Stars on Ice has ever put on. That's what I'm hearing from people. But anyway, I think it's just a really exciting show. The family, the skaters have gotten to know each other so well over the last couple of years. We've all been competing together for so long, and we're really excited to come to San Jose. I think San Jose is going to be the best show of the whole tour. Everyone's super excited for it. U.S. Figure Skating is actually flying out all the Olympic coaches to San Jose to watch the show, and then there's going to be an event, and all the skaters are going to present the coaches with an award afterwards, and so it's going to be a huge thing. Everyone's really excited.
That sounds awesome. I'm going to try my best to make it, and if you see me in the stands, say hi to me, Vincent. I'm going to be like this the whole time.
Absolutely.
Well, Vincent, I do want to ask you, though, before we let you go here, besides having a blast with the Stars on Ice right now tour, how are you spending the rest of your time? What are you doing?
Well, so our tour schedule is pretty insane. We basically go city to city on consecutive days. We sleep in the bus. Sometimes our show schedule basically doesn't finish until after 11 p.m. Our bus departs after midnight, and
Wow.
and we often get into our next location at like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. Sometimes we sleep the whole night in the bus. So it's a pretty brutal schedule, but we do usually have our shows on weekends. So when we have our weekdays off, we either attend other obligations or we'll go home for a 1 or 2 day break. But it's still traveling, it's still tiring. But in our previous breaks, we went to the White House for the Olympic celebration for Tokyo and Beijing.
That's nice.
We attended Figure Skating Harlem, which the 50th anniversary reception, which was a huge thing with a nonprofit org that's helping young girls of color in the Harlem area in New York with their skating journey and with their education, and setting them up for life, giving them opportunities they didn't have before. We're doing stuff like that, or we're going home. But
Yeah.
it's equal parts work and fun. I'll put it that way.
I have been seeing those posts on Instagram, by the way. You're really active there. I like it. Well, Vincent, again, congrats on your bronze medal at Worlds. You really are an inspiration for many, many people out there. So thank you again for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
And thanks to everyone at home for watching. I'll see you next time.